Hey, welcome back. Oh my goodness. So, I'm gonna get better with my intros. I promise, I am. But what I really wanted to talk about in this video is the mental and emotional weight of needing income, right? You needing money, needing income, needing stability, but also needing peace and freedom and your time. I am in this season right now, and I know I'm not alone. I know other people have been here or are here, which is why I wanted to make this video. I'm in this season right now of desiring and absolutely needing peace and freedom. When I was younger, like when I first started in my career as a sonographer in my very early 20s, I believe I was 22 when I got my first job. That's when I started my career. I worked endlessly because money was my driving factor. I wanted money. I liked money. I had one kid when I started and two immediately after starting my career. And I knew that I needed money. And I wanted to make sure I had a savings account that, I was doing all of the things I was supposed to be doing. So when I was younger, I worked tirelessly. There was a point where I actually worked 3 jobs. A full-time job Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30. In the evenings, I would take call, meaning I would work from like 7 p.m. until 6 a.m. and they could call me in for anything. So I might get called in at 8 o'clock. I might get called in again at 2 a.m. I might get called in again at 4 a.m. And then I still had to get up and go to work, my regular job. And I had kids, okay? Mind you, I was a parent, and a single parent at that. And then I worked weekends, okay? I worked every other Saturday and Sunday at a fertility clinic. I was crazy. And then, let me tell you what else. In that era, I also had decided I was going back to school to complete my bachelor's degree. So I went back to school full-time, people. Full-time, meaning I was taking a heavy course load. 4 classes in the spring, 4 classes in the fall, 2 classes in the summer. The only time I didn't take classes was winter. So I was working 3 jobs and in school, in college, getting a degree, okay? Full-time college workload. And I was pregnant with Carter, my 10-year-old. I was crazy. Like, I look back at those times and I'm like, what was I thinking? Why would you do that to yourself? But yes, so there was a season in my life where I worked tirelessly, and I still found time to go out with my friends, to see my parents, to clean the house, do laundry. My 2 older kids, they were in activities, people. Like my son, my oldest son, he played a sport every season, okay? There was not a break. He did everything. We did basketball, football, soccer, lacrosse. We tried baseball. We ain't like it. Ran track. My daughter did dance and gymnastics. Ran track. She played soccer. I coached her soccer team, y'all. And I don't even know how to play soccer. Okay? I did all of these things. And I still never felt burned out, or at least that I can remember. I don't remember feeling burned out. I just remember that I had to keep going. And now I will not operate like that. I will not operate like that. When we moved to Georgia in 2019, that was like the first time I only had one job in probably 13 years, maybe. Well, no, I'm lying. Probably in 10 years. That was the first time that I've worked one job. And when we moved, I told my partner, I said, I will not work 2 and 3 jobs anymore. I can't. I'm tired. It's too much. And so we moved to Georgia. I was working one job. I'm still working one job. And at this moment, I'm valuing my peace and my freedom and my time over everything. I have come to this moment of clarity where I believe in hard work. I am a very hard worker. I am very good at my job. But when I am being drained, because if I'm being 100% transparent, I am honestly drained from the work I've been doing for the past almost 20 years. Working in this season for me is like, I am drained. I have nothing left to give, and I want peace. I deserve peace. And I have reached this pivotal moment where I have to make like very critical life decisions that will likely affect my income. And there's a very big part of me that is okay with that. I am okay with the decision that I know I'm going to make very soon. I am okay. And I will figure it all out. I always figure it out. I pray. I ask for guidance. Sometimes I get frustrated when I don't feel like my prayers are being answered when I ask, or when I don't feel like I see the pathway clearly. But when I tell you I am always okay, I am always okay. I'm always okay, because I try really hard to be obedient to whatever the calling is for me. Whatever it is I'm supposed to be doing at this moment, I try really hard to do that. And so in this season, in this moment of my life, I am choosing peace. My 2 older kids are now young adults. So I have a 22-year-old and I have a soon-to-be 18-year-old. She will be 18 this month. She just graduated high school. She is journeying into young adulthood. She is learning who she is, figuring out her life, what she wants to do. And I have a 10-year-old and an 8-year-old. My 10-year-old is a gifted kid. He's in the gifted program. He also has ADHD. So he's like super, super smart. And then very, very hype. And then my 8-year-old is on the autism spectrum. And I work in healthcare, which is very demanding of my time. It is very demanding of my time. And I work in healthcare patient facing. Like, I directly interact with patients every single day. I cannot do the part of my job that I do extremely well from home. And in this season, I recognize that I need to be home more. I need to be more available for my 2 youngest children, because they need something from me that my older 2 children did not necessarily need. And I'm having to really sit with myself in this season and map out my plan, because I do not want to operate the way I used to operate. Like, yes, money is important and we need money to survive, but I also need peace, and I also need to be present. And when my daughter has an IEP meeting, I'm going to be there, whether I have PTO, whether there is coverage, whether the schedule is already stacked and you don't want to reschedule patients. I'm going to be there. When My 10-year-old, who gets a lot of ear infections and strep throat constantly, needs to have his surgery this month. I am taking him to get his surgery, whether or not I have the PTO or we have the coverage or not. And that is the season that I'm in right now. And so because I have come to this realization that I'm going to choose my kids, I'm going to choose myself, I'm going to choose my peace over everything, I am having to make very difficult decisions that I have not necessarily actually went through with in my past. But in this season, I am actually going to do what I need to do. And I wanted to make this video because I know I'm not the only person. And I just want to encourage you, if you are in a season of just feeling like you need to choose yourself over everything, you need to choose your peace, and you may have to make some sacrifices to do it, go with your heart, because it will work out. This is something I know for a fact, because even on my worst days, even in my worst seasons, when I feel like all hope is lost, everything is going to the bottom of the ocean, it works itself out. And I struggle with a lot of things, spirituality wise, everything. Like, I struggle with just like, should I be asking for this? Or am I doing what I'm supposed to do? Am I living right? You know, I go through all of those things, but what I can honestly say is that it always works out. Even if it doesn't work out the way I envisioned or the way I hoped it would or the way I thought it would, it works out for my good and for the good of my family. So I trust that when I'm being pushed in directions, that it is what I'm supposed to be doing. No matter how scary it is, no matter how uncertain it may feel, no matter how much anxiety I may have about it, I know that it will work out. So I just want to encourage you to trust yourself, choose peace, and it will work itself out. So until next time, that's it for today.